Hi, welcome back to another video of this learning C++ journey. So in the previous tutorials, we learned some concepts like function overriding, overloading, inheritance, as well as constructors overloading as well. And as well, we got to learn the basic concepts of inheritance, its syntax, and we understand the concepts with some real life examples as well. Now, what we are going to do, we are going to solve some two practice problems. So one practice problem in this video and one practice problem in the next video. With the help of these practice problem, you will get a hands-on experience on the syntax of the inheritance and how it works. So let's start without further delay. Now, let's read out the statement of our practice problem. So create a class 2D having the x and y coordinates of an object. Derive a class 3D from a 2D additional z coordinate. Override x and y coordinate of 2D class using set data function. Get the coordinate for two specific points and compute the distance between them using formula this. All right, let's try to attempt this program. So we have a class by the name of, we cannot start a variable name by a number, so we will write d2 instead of 2d. So we have this as a parent class. I will just write with it in comments, parent class. Okay. And then in parent class, we will have protected section in which we will have two coordinates and float x and float y. Okay, so we have got two coordinates of an object. Now in the public section, we will have a function as a set data, as they have told us in the statement, and this set data will be of type void because we are not going to return anything. With the help of this set data, we will assign the values to our members. Okay, so enter the value for x, which is equals to something value that will be entered by the user, and we will enter into x. Now we will copy these lines of code and we will just replace x by y in the next line. So here we will write y, and then we will write y over here as well. Now with the help of this function, we will be able to get data from the user and store it in these member variables x and y. So one thing is then derive a class 3D. Now how to design a derived class? Let's design a derived class. So we will write class, and the derived class will be named as d3, as they have said 3D. After that, single colon, and we would like to have the data as private. I guess private would be nice. So private. Okay. So this will make all the things that has been inherited from this class as a private. So all of these x, y, and set data will be seen as private. But here is an issue. Here is an issue. That whatever has been, okay, just leave it that we will see that issue. If we face some issue, we will solve it. Okay, now let's focus on building this class. How to inherit? We will write a d2 over here, and then we will write the simple basic syntax. Now what we are going to have, a private section in which we will introduce another member variable by the name of float z. Now in the public section, what we are going to do, we are going to write this void set data. So we will override the set data function, set data. Okay, and in set data, first of all, we will take the input for these values. So as you guys know that how to do that, if you don't know, this is how you can do that. D2, you will write the class name first, then double colons, single colons, and then the set data function, and you will write this. So what will happen that with this line of code, it will call this function. So first of all, it will take values for x and y, and it will store in x and y because they are protected and they are inherited in this. So they are technically present in this class. After that, we need an extra lines of code. So this is why it is called the function overriding, because we are actually changing and customizing the functionality of the function with the same parameters and same name. Okay, and we will write z, and we will write z over here as well. Now what? Okay, get the coordinates for two specific points and compute the distance between them using formula. So now the next objective in this practice problem is that we have to create a function that will operate in such order that it will calculate the distance for us using this formula. Okay, so for that purpose, what we are going to do, there can be two approaches. One is going to be your homework, that is simple function with simple function, and I am going to attempt it with the member function, which means I am going to write the function within my class. So the expected output or the expected return of my function is going to be double like size, a large size of float data type, decimal data type, and I'll name it as a calculate distance. Okay, now in this case, what I am going to receive as a parameter is going to be the object itself of the same class. So that is going to be d3, and I will write other. Okay, just to differentiate from the object itself in which we are working now. You can write this, you can use this syntax as well and write the reference. Okay, so as you guys know, we used so much this kind of syntax in our operator overloading, so we will continue with this. Now the first objective is that we have to write these formulas. So in order to write these formula, what I will do, just to make calculations a bit more understandable and easier, I will write this as A, this as B, and this as a C. Now how to do it? So I'll write double A, I'll write double B, then I'll write double C. Okay, then I will write double D. Okay, now I am going to assign each of them a value. The first thing that we are going to do is that we are going to have x2 minus x1. So x2 is the object received, so we will write other dot x minus the object itself, which means the x in which we are working. Okay, then we will write other dot y minus y itself. So this is y2 minus y1 implementation. Then we will write other dot z minus z. Okay, so this is so far just we have achieved x2 minus x1, y2 minus y1, and we have done a z2 minus z1 as well. So this represent the object received, so we will pass this as our distance 2. So distance 2 would be x2. So as for the others, the same concept as well. Now what we are going to do, we are going to calculate the powers of each expression. So the power will be calculated with the help of including this CMath library, and we will use the function as POW. Okay, so POW, and we will write brackets. Okay, then POW here, we will write POW here as well. Okay, so here we will write POW. Okay, now we have got POWs here. We will write the brackets correctly. Now the power function expects a second argument as the power, so we will write 2, which is the square. So we will write as 2. Okay, it is, I guess you guys get the idea what's happening over here. So it is x2 minus x1 whole square, y2 minus y1 whole square, and z2 minus z1 whole square. So now this stage is completed. Now what we are going to do, The next step is to add all of these. So we will add all of them. So a plus b plus c, sorry, plus c, and then we are going to find the its square root. So square root is basically, we can use the squared function from our math cmath library. So math.h in a C language, and here you can import cmath as well. We have got this, and we will return this d. That's it. We have successfully designed our distance function. Now we are going to test it. If there is some issue, we will just solve it. Okay. All right. So in the main function, what do we need? We need a d3 distance 1 and distance 2. Okay. And what we are going to do, we are going to print out a statement, enter data for dist1. So just to know that which distance I am right now entering, and we will use set data function. We already know that, we have designed it and discussed it. And then we will print another line of code saying C out copy, and we will write paste, and we will replace 1 by 2, and here we will write dist2 dot set data. Okay, as you guys can see, there were two options of set data, but whatever you select, it will call the set data, which is in the D3 class, as we discussed in our function overriding. Okay, so this is just overriding of the function set data in the main class. Now what we are going to do, we are going to print out the area. So we will say, not area, distance, distance is equals to, and we will call the function. So distance 1 dot calculate distance, and we will pass the distance 2. Okay. Now you will be asking me that why it is calling, because it is a member function. So the member function can be only called with the help of an object. So distance 1 is this x, this simple x, and distance 2 are these other dot x and other dot y. Okay, so we have come so far in our OOP programming, and if you haven't watched my video, you may have studied in your university or any other place. You must know all of these things because you are studying the inheritance on these up levels. So these are things like baby steps which should not be explained every single time. Now let's run the code. If there is some error, we will solve it. All right, the code runs. Now let's write the value as just simple values, 4, and we will write 8, and we will write 12, I guess. I'm using these numbers just to make sure our calculation is very simple. So I'll open a calculator on my screen as well, and we will verify if our formula is working correct. All right, so before running this program, let's have some supposed example. Let's say we have values like 4, 6, and 12 for distance 1. And let's say we have values for distance 2 like 8, 10, and 20, let's say. And what will it result in? That distance 2 minus distance 1 will be like 4 remaining, 10 minus 6 will be 4, and 20 minus 12 would be 8. Okay, now let's take the squares of all of them, and the square of 4 is 16, and then 16 again, and then again 64. Okay, now add all of them. So what we are going to do, we are going to add all of them. So by addition, 16 plus 16 is 32, and 32 plus 64, so it's like 96. Okay, so 64, and we will have 96, and we will take the square root of 96. Okay, so I'll just take out the calculator, and let's calculate the square root. How to calculate a square root? I guess it is the square root. 96 square root is equals to 9.797. Let's calculate it. So we are going to have a distance 1 as 4, 6 and 12. Distance 2 is 8, 10 and 20. 9.7. Let me just zoom it for you. And we have 9.7. Yep, totally exact answer. Great job done. Great job done. Okay, so this was it, the practice problem for our inheritance lesson, and we are going to perform another practice problem in the next tutorial, and you guys have to implement this functionality with the help of simple function, not a member function. That is your homework, and try to implement the whole code by yourself. Okay, so if you have any queries, you can ask as well. So I'll meet you guys in the next one. Bye.